Marvel has a lot of imitations of DC characters and vice versa. They're parodies, playful jabs at each other, and some characters are just too cool not to emulate. One of which is an immensely powerful being named Hyperion. Who is he? Let's talk about him. But before we do, I want to say thank you for watching JL's Comics. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. I upload videos just like this every single week. Alright, on to the story. Created by Roy Thomas and Sal Buscema, Hyperion first appeared in Avengers 69 in October of 69. Well, this version did. There have been multiple versions of Hyperion, so I'll do my best to make it not confusing and break them all down for you. This version of Hyperion is Zhib-Ran, and he believes he's from a microverse, a universe smaller than an atom, that was destroyed when our Earth first split atoms to create atomic energy. An elder of the universe named Grandmaster enlarged him from his subatomic size and put him on a team called Squadron Sinister, an evil team, and pitted him against Kang the Conqueror and the Avengers of Earth. Roy Thomas has said in interviews that this team was designed as pastiches to DC Comics' Justice League, with Hyperion representing Superman, Wizard copies Flash, Dr. Spectrum similar to Green Lantern, and Nighthawk evoking Batman. In their early confrontation, Hyperion was defeated by Thor, who actually shrunk him back down and put him in a glass orb. A couple years later, we arrive at 1971's Avengers Issue 85. The Avengers went to another reality where they saw the Earth 712 Squadron Supreme and mistook them for Squadron Sinister. They were the same characters, they looked the same, who they had fought before. After the misunderstanding was cleared up, including why they were why they were living in Avengers Mansion, the Squadron and the Avengers realized that the Avengers went to a different reality. And in their reality, there was no X-Men, there was no Avengers, it was Squadron Supreme. So the Avengers teamed up with them to fight a villain named Brainchild. Curiously, even though this was Squadron Supreme, the cover still advertised the sensational return of the Squadron Sinister. So this Earth 712 Hyperion is named Mark Milton. He's the last survivor of an ancient colony of doomed Eternals who crashed on Earth and was raised by the Milton family. The name Hyperion actually comes from Greek mythology, meaning literally the High One. Greek Hyperion was brother to Kronos and progeny of the sun and the sky. He was one of 12 Titans before the Olympians took over. And this Hyperion, as we learned in Thor 280, is a newspaper cartoonist for his civil identity. He had a radioactive weakness too, argonite. Yes, krypton and argon are both gases and chemical elements here on Earth, so there's another connection for you, just bringing his story even further in alignment with Superman's. Years went by and he grew up and he joined this Earth 712 Squadron Supreme as a superhero. Evil Hyperion showed up again in Defenders issue 13 to the surprise of Nighthawk, who was said to Hyperion, "The last time I saw you, you were in a glass bottle." Hyperion reveals that it was Nebulon the Celestial Man who actually freed him from his glass prison and restored his powers, and in return, Hyperion actually sold him planet Earth. They were going to try to destroy and take over planet Earth by firing lasers at the poles to melt the ice caps and flood the planet. The Defenders, though, stepped in to defeat them. Then Nebulon's laser imploded, taking all the Squadron Supreme except Nighthawk. In Giant-Sized Defenders 4, Nighthawk tells Yellowjacket that he saw them get blown to bits, referencing that Nebulon battle. We then learned that an alien species called the Ludberdites transported them back to Earth so they could get revenge on the Defenders and their ex-comrade Nighthawk. An hour after they got back, Hulk smashed Hyperion for hurting his bird-nosed friend, and it took the power of the Jade Giant and a roaring thunderclap from the Incredible Hulk to stop Hyperion. Avengers issue 141 advertised Avengers versus the Squadron Sinister. While some of the Avengers and Immortus battled Kang, confusingly Immortus and Kang are both Kang, other Avengers dueled with Squadron Supreme, and this time on the Avengers Earth. Squadron Supreme was hired by Roxxon Oil to protect its interests, and they fought again in issue 144, now with Patsy Walker Hellcat on the team. They were sent back to Squadron Supreme's world by Roxxon. And it turns out the reason why the good guys were acting bad was because they were being controlled by a president on their Earth wearing the mystical serpent crown of the Serpent Society. Vision defeated Hyperion by shoving his fist right through his chest. When the mind control was discovered as Avengers went back to their world, Squadron Supreme denounced what had happened on their Earth. Not long after, they showed up on Midgard in front of Thor, who thought at first he was the evil Hyperion there to fight, but all he wanted to do was ask Thor to be in a movie. At first they fought. Hyperion actually threw a car so hard right at Thor that it knocked Mjolnir out of his hand. It turns out the evil Hyperion also showed up, and he learned he had a goody two-shoes otherworld twin. So the two Hyperions ran into each other. Evil Hyperion wanted to kill the good one and take his place. So he tied up good Hyperion and threw him into the void of space. But Hyperion came back, mad at Thor, because while he was gone, he was talking to his girl Lonnie. Together with Squadron Supreme, they defeated Evil Hyperion, who'd by now teamed up with Emil Burbank, the Master Menace. And once defeated, Hyperion sent Thor back to Earth 616, and they parted as allies. Evil Hyperion was imprisoned in a cell that would forever sap his powers. We then learned that a scientist from Nth Command freed Evil Hyperion from that prison cell, and if he helped them track down Thundra, who had stolen their dimension machine, and in return, Nth Command would help Evil Hyperion go back to his homeworld, which he, up until then, thought was destroyed. But he started to fall for Thundra at this time, as she was pretty, and she could actually punch up in his weight class. So instead of returning the machine to Nth, they used the machine to send her through a portal back to her dimension, and he leapt in after her, but in there they got separated, so he was stuck. Good Hyperion showed up again in 1982's Defenders 111, but he was ill and bedridden. Nighthawk and Doctor Strange took the Defenders to Squadron Supreme's alternate Earth and to Hyperion's bedside to help. He told them how this Eternal named Overmind was controlling the President and the rest of the Squadron Supreme, and he took over and he weakened Hyperion with an amulet made of kryptonite-like argonite, and then bathed the entire planet in argonite rays, so that's why he was weak and ill when the Defenders came upon him. Damon Hellstrom used his healing powers to help Hyperion regain his strength, and as they all fought, it was revealed that Overmind was actually being controlled by Null, the Living Darkness, and together with a group of psychics manifested as Wendy Williams, along with Silver Surfer, Namor, and Hyperion and the Defenders, they all defeated Null. Mark Gruenwald's Squadron Supreme miniseries dealt with the team's inner turmoil and did a really great job of fleshing out each of the characters. With Hyperion leading the team, they sought out to make their Earth a utopia to make up for what happened while under Overmind's control. And the series dealt with subjects like political science, loyalty, morality, cancer, and what it means to be a hero. In issue 7 of the series, Master Menace pulled Evil Hyperion out of a dimensional portal to work for him, and in return, he'd reunite him with Thundra. Evil Hyperion switched places with Hyperion, who was now trapped outside of reality, and pretended to have amnesia to make up for any mistakes he would probably make. So Evil Hyperion during this time started to fall for Power Princess while she helped him rediscover his powers. He's like, Thundra, Zarda, there's so many women, what do I do? And he actually chose Zarda the Power Princess, which meant the deal with Menace was off. And just 4 weeks after Zarda's husband's funeral, Hyperion had her. But it was short-lived because good Hyperion made it back, beat the crap out of evil Hyperion, and ended up killing him, where his face literally melted. Next came 1989's Squadron Supreme Death of a Universe, also called Marvel Graphic Novel number 55, where Hyperion and the Squadron had to stop Nth Man from consuming Earth 712's sun, but they were stuck outside of their dimension, stranded in the 616 universe. Hyperion then met up with Quasar in the 1990s as the team was still trapped in the 616 on Earth. They were still there for Star Blast and later 1998's Avengers run by Kurt Busiek and George Perez. In the 5th issue of that series, Hyperion had a rematch with Thor. Carol Danvers, usually Miss Marvel in her black suit, but going by Warbird here, was punched right out of the sky by Hyperion before she could switch to her binary form. Hyperion then fought Wonder Man, who, having been resurrected, was now made of pure ionic energy. More mind control, this time by a guy named the Corruptor, and Cap even said to Hyperion, what's going on here? This is like the 4th time you guys have been mind controlled. Later, the team ran into Nth Man again in the graphic novel Squadron Supreme New World Order, but now he was a Sorcerer Supreme called Mysterium. In 2003's Supreme Power by J. Michael Straczynski, we meet a Mark Milton Hyperion from Earth 31916, our next version of Hyperion. Like his predecessor, this Hyperion also came to Earth as a baby, but instead of being raised by a nice family, he was raised by scientists, officers, and agents of the US government. He was groomed into becoming a bioweapon for him. 2004's Exiles run introduced Hyperion of Earth 4023, an evil King Hyperion who was bent on destruction. King Hyperion joined a group of reality jumpers similar to Exiles, which were called Weapon X. Both teams were guided by the Time Broker, which was a construct used by the Crystal Palace within the Emkron crystal located at the nexus of all realities. Well, King Hyperion had no intention of listening to Time Broker. He just wanted to destroy the Sentinels and then conquer the entire Earth and the whole multiverse. Later, the Exiles were inside the Emkron crystal and discovered that King Hyperion was actually still alive, and so they once again fought bravely against him. An exile named Beak figured out that the way to defeat King Hyperion was to bring in 2 good Hyperions to take him down. So they got Earth 712 Hyperion and another guy who has to wear goggles because his eyes were injured, and both of them were able to stop King Hyperion before he destroyed the multiverse. In 2006's New Thunderbolts, issue 16, we learned that while Grandmaster created the original Hyperion, He didn't create the powers, but actually drew them from an alchemical wellspring. This Hyperion was from another microverse that was ruined by incursions from Genus Vel, which caused his world to explode. Dr. Spectrum put him on a new squadron, and they fought the Thunderbolts. In Last Defenders from 2008, yet another version, a monster version of Hyperion, and the Squadron Sinister. They're from Earth 89125. Hyperion was cooked by Hellstrom as the Last Defenders defeated this new evil squadron. And there was another alternate version of Hyperion in 2011 for a book called Marvel's Zombie Supreme, but he died quickly from, of all things, mad cow disease. During a 2013 event called Infinity, Hyperion destroyed Corvus Glaive when Thanos and his Black Order came to Earth in pursuit of Thanos' son Thane. Corvus, though, can't truly die unless his glaive is destroyed or broken, and Hyperion missed the weapon when he shot his atomic blast at him, so he wasn't actually dead. Jonathan Hickman introduced a new version of Hyperion with 2013's 5th volume of Avengers, which was meant to be a clean slate for him, erasing all that baggage from the past. When this Hyperion also went eternal, when the world was dying, he was sent to the Earth of that universe. But as another reality collided with it, he fought to save it. But his universe was destroyed, and he was trapped in the void left over when that universe collapsed. And he was there until AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics, pulled him into Earth 616, where AIM held him imprisoned until the Avengers were able to free him. And once they did that, they offered him a spot on the team. Hyperion actually battled an Abyss-controlled Hulk. Some insane power punches to the face and atomic vision blast later, it took Thor calling down lightning from the heavens to free Banner of his Abyss control, which reverted him back to his human form. "Welcome back, Dr. Banner," Hyperion said, with a smirk on his face. He then helped the Avengers defeat Ex-Nihilo, Abyss, and Aleph, and went to the Savage Land where Ex-Nihilo's origin bombs had gone off. In the Savage Land, Hyperion fought a race of beings that Ex-Nihilo created called the Children of the Sun, who Hyperion actually decided to stay with to teach them, so he left the Avengers. These children even started calling Hyperion Father. As the incursions of Time Runs Out continued smashing universes and Earths together, killing untold trillions of lives across the multiverse, Hyperion and the Children of the Sun started helping the Brazilian mutant Sunspot and his own AIM-funded multiversal Avengers find a way to try to stop the incursions. They traveled across universes, following a map left by cosmic cartographers called the Map Makers. They ran into the Black Priests who joined up with them, and eventually they ran into the people who were behind all the destruction, Ivory Kings, whom the Earthlings called the Beyonders. A couple Beyonders came out of a fissure in time and space and said, "You gotta fall back," and the multiversal Avengers and Hyperion said no, and they fought. And the Avengers fought bravely against these Beyonders. And at the end, only Thor and Hyperion were left as wave after wave of Beyonder attacked, and together Thor and Hyperion faced death bravely and with honor. They died heroes, and they died doing what they loved. After Secret Wars, the Earth and the 616 universe were restored. Almost no one had memories of what had transpired on Battleworld. This is when Hyperion ended up leaving the Avengers and joining Squadron Supreme once more. Squadron Supreme then went after Namor, the King of Atlantis, for destroying Dr. Spectrum's Great Society of Earth 4290001 during the incursions. Hyperion actually destroyed Atlantis by throwing it and decapitated the King of Atlantis. This was cause for concern for the Avengers. Were they too powerful? Could Hyperion be detained? Could they stop him if he went bad? The Avengers Unity Division hunted them down, but they were able to escape to a place called Weird World. And they were only there for a short while before coming back to Earth, where Hyperion continued to run with the Squadron Supreme, although between missions, he dressed down and he was a truck driver. He wanted to learn more about himself and his place in the world and answer those questions about the lines of his morality. In Chuck Wendig's first issue of the 2016 Hyperion series, while truck driving, Hyperion, as Mark, met a girl named Doll and had a run-in with some carnies called the Family. Later, Iron Man confronted Hyperion, wanting him to stand trial for the crimes the Squadron Supreme committed. Hyperion refused, and he battled with Iron Man until Thunder showed up, and they talked and put all their grievances aside. After Civil War II, and with a massive Chitauri invasion imminent, a global force field called the Planetary Defense Shield was proposed by a guy named Red Ghost. Monica Rambeau had Hyperion test out this defense shield. And during the Chitauri invasion that followed, Hyperion helped hold off wave after wave of aliens while Ironheart and Iron Man worked to fix the shield. And it turns out that the shield was broken because HydraCap from Secret Empire had damaged it. And with the heroes now in space fending off aliens, HydraCap reactivated the shield, trapping the heroes of Earth in space, so he and Hydra could take over. When the new Quasar, a lady named Avril, brought down the shield, Hyperion helped all the heroes defeat HydraCap and bring down the Secret Empire and save the USA. Later, a copy of Hyperion Hyperion was created by Mephisto in a lifeless body that was programmed by the Power Elite, which was a secret cabal formed after the Secret Empire to try to hold on to some of that power they once had. This Hyperion was implanted with fake memories. He was a high school teacher and also slept with Power Princess. He was a member of the Squadron Supreme of America. This Hyperion also fought Namor and his team of oceanic members called the Defenders of the Deep. While teaching a class, Frost Giants attacked Washington, D.C. as part of Malekith's War of the Realms, so he joined up with the squadron to battle them. More recently, Hyperion and the Squadron Supreme of America were set to be a part of the Empire event at Marvel in summer 2020, but that was canceled. And with that, that's a wrap on this one, my friends. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you can be one of the first to know when I upload videos just like this each and every week. I'm Jesse, this is JLS Comics, and I'll see you soon.